All right, 7 o'clock, right on the nose. There we go. All right. Yeah. So as we discussed earlier, we open it up for some Q&A. I did see one question already from David, and I do actually want to do a quick shout out. I did mention that I have a forthcoming book on cinematic pleasures coming out, and actually David Mai, who was present with us, and Bertie Hung, who's also present with us, are both contributing authors to the concluding chapter of that book. They all, Bertie particularly, was really helpful in helping to, with many of the ideas and some of the tidying up process towards the end of the writing. So shout outs to Bertie and David. Anyways, yeah, David is asking about, do Giallo films have to be consciously referencing Giallo? I don't think so. And you know, I don't think that, you know, obviously, Cattet and Forzani are very versed in the material, but you know, they are often simply taking those aesthetics. You know, as you can see in my background, you know, that vivid red and blue color. You know, so they're really mobilizing some of the aesthetics and tropes that we find in the Giallo films. As I can't remember who said it now, if it was Forzani or Cattet, but you know, really kind of making it their own to tell their own stories. Yeah. So we did have a kind of a short exchange there with Chelsea, who, you know, also noted how haunting Tom York's scoring can be, and I've, as I wrote in the chat, you know, that title track, the Suspirium, that York did for Guadagnino's film, I really literally go flush with goosebumps just about every time I hear it. And it's actually, I actually talk about Suspiria and Tom York's contribution to talk about cinematic pleasure, you know, as an example of the beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, and Tess is encouraging folks to go ahead and ask questions. Yeah, please feel free to ask questions. And I'm curious, maybe if Brian's tile, if that was a self-conscious gesture towards today's topic, or if that was maybe that's just by coincidence. Tess, did you have a question?
I don't. Oh, here we have one in the in the chat from Chelsea.
Oh, oh, yeah, this is an interesting question about queerness in Giallo. You know, I haven't thought that much about it, but I think, you know, that is a it's interesting. Yeah, and I'm trying to think about some of the recent neo-Giallo films, whether those engage with queerness. I'm trying to think. I'm not sure. I can certainly think of some. There definitely are examples, Giallo films, and you know, there's I get mixed up which films is which. Like the case of the Vermilion Spider with glass legs, or I just made that title up, but that's like yeah, there's a Fennec film. Maybe somebody else can remember. And I'm pretty sure there's at least one film. So the case of the iris something that includes a lesbian scene, maybe. Yeah, and maybe Chelsea, maybe you had something in mind in terms of maybe there's examples that you've thought of.
Yeah, I don't have a specific, I mean, I don't have any thoughts around like meaning or how common it is in Giallo. I'm blanking on which Argento film has like kind of a significant gay character. I was gonna say Profundo Rosso, but it might not be that.
Right.
And then I know Knife Plus Heart is like a neo Giallo that's super gay.
Right.
It's like set in kind of a gay porn
Right.
empire. So I was just wondering whether there are kind of, when you were talking about subverting misogyny, I haven't really thought about whether the like queerness that is maybe incidental or how it's coded in kind of the classics. So if you don't have a thought around it, that's okay. It was something that popped into my mind and I thought maybe you'd have some thoughts.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting question. And I mean, but there's also certain and this is not necessarily what you had in mind, I don't think, but that rampant, ugly misogyny is kind of tinged with that, in terms of like, we had that the example from I think the name of the film is The Laughing Woman. Basically, like a world without men. That there's this sort of like kind of like female master plan to take over the world without men, or something like this, which kind of suggests a certain kind of queer utopia or something like that. But yeah, but it's interesting. Yeah, I wonder if we might be able to bring a queer reading to a mere, our character, our Anna, might be seen through that lens. Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to give it further thought. But yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Other questions or? Yeah, so Birdie's asking about sharing about the possible ways in which gore or horror might slip in, or pivot into the beautiful. And one of the things that I've certainly thought quite a lot about is the use of sound and audio design, and specifically music and musicality. So not always music in the way that we think about it, but musicality. So perhaps things like drones or other audio designs, which might elicit a degree of pleasure, and how, for instance, that Black Mass scene at the concluding moments of Guadagnino's Suspiria, York's score, really, in a way, transforms what we see. And so Susie's declaration, it's interesting. She says, "It's beautiful, it's beautiful, it's beautiful." it's I don't think it's actually a coincidence that she says it 3 times, because it actually matches up with specifically the Suspirium track, which is based on a kind of a 3-note triad that kind of repeats over and over. I'm not sure if the Unmade necessarily follows that same pattern per se, but there definitely is a play on that element. Yeah. So yeah, musicality, music can certainly has the capacity or power to change or to transform those gory or horrific or dreadful images into something that's potentially beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. And then of course, just that kind of crimson filter, which, just, yeah, works a certain degree of magic. Yeah. Other questions? Tess?
Oh, here we go. Another one.
Hey, Joey. Yeah, did you have a question?
Yeah, nice to talk to you. I had you for winter semester.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, when you teach online, sometimes you don't know. You just, yeah.
And the shortest semester of them all on top.
Oh my God, winter. I don't know how you did it. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Don't either. I was wondering, I was curious, because this is not a genre I'm super familiar with, but it's like I think we interact with it in any way. But I was thinking like Neon Demon comes to mind as potentially very heavily inspired or amongst this sort of thing.
Yeah,
I don't know your thoughts or.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can speak to that specific film, but I mean, when you start to see these Giallo, or sorry, the original Giallo films, then you start like realizing like, oh my God, like the impact and the influence, especially on horror, American horror in particular. But then also if you start looking at some like some kind of Japanese cult films, you go, oh wait, there's some affinities there too. Okay. Yeah, and I think it's been maybe a kind of a dirty little secret that people watch these films or something, or maybe it's just kind of slowly, kind of through some kind of form of osmosis or something, kind of slowly creeping into cinematic, kind of our visual vocabulary or whatever it might be. But yeah, when you start seeing these films, you go, oh, okay, well, yeah. I mean, some of the cinematography, some of the Quentin Tarantino. I mean, the sound, the music, and I mean, you start like, oh wait, what? These films have actually had a tremendous impact on again, very specifically American horror, but then yeah, like folks like Tarantino and yeah. So yeah, it's you start seeing it. And one of those I mentioned very briefly, I think, in the talk as well. It's just a passing thing. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the Hulu series Devs. And there's an opening, I believe it's the 4th episode, and it's just all Giallo colors, and you go, oh, okay, like somebody just, it's you see it over and over. Yeah. So I hope you did well in the class. I hope I wasn't.
I mean,
I hope I wasn't too hard on
history
you.
one. It's hard not to do okay in that one.
Okay. All right. That's good. I hope I wasn't too hard on you. Okay. Good. All right. And thanks, Joy. Thanks for the question. Yeah. Anybody else?
Bertie, did you have a question?
Hey, Bertie.
Hi there. No,
Hi.
not really. Just want to show off my background here. Yeah, but I'm curious to learn more from people if they have like questions.
Yeah. And if other folks have has anybody seen Amir? Because I think it's a fantastic film. It's also a lesson, I think, to students that show don't tell. I mean, there's not much of a story as such, but you still follow right along. It's not like you're lost. But it is instructive in visual storytelling without necessarily telling a story, if that makes sense, or if that's not too contradictory. Yeah. And again, the students are cool with the film, as particularly when you kind of preface or inform them what they're getting into. Thanks, Bertie, putting that opening sequence there. Yeah.
Any other questions? Last chance.
Yeah. Is it Miller time yet?
All right. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for joining us. That was amazing.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. It's a lot of fun to put together, and yeah, I hope you all go. Particularly if you haven't seen Amir, go see Amir. If you haven't seen Guadagnino's Suspiria, go see that. Don't necessarily compare Guadagnino's film to Argento's film, though. They're different. They're different animals altogether. So, but still, I hope you check it out and enjoy.
Great. Well, we have recorded this and it will be sent out to everyone who registered. And just a reminder that we are still accepting submissions for our film festival, AV Fest 2022. Feel free to head over to our website and check out all the fun stuff we've got going on. And stay tuned for our next Cinema Arts and Lecture series. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
You're welcome.